Well, today I'm building a new snake rack. It's gonna be a female breeder rack. I got a piece of 1/2 inch plywood for the sides, and it's gonna be made out of all plywood. So I decided to go 1/2 inch on the sides just to try and keep the weight down. And then I got a piece of 3/4 for the shelving, just to have something. I got a piece and a half. I got a rip here, 2 foot. And then a full piece here I'm going to cut down. And then like I said, I'm doing the 3/4 just because I don't know, the shelves, it'll be easier to screw in through the sides. Have something to screw into, still a little more solid. And then I got a piece of just strand board here, or just 1/4 inch or 1/8 inch actually, for the back, just to stiffen it up. So I'm going to put the strips for belly heat and show how to do that. So right now I'm just cutting this piece in half. It's going to be 6 tubs high, and I'll show you how we do it. I'll show you the size tubs we got. We got the 41 quart. It's basically 34 by 15 by 6 inches. This is the standard Walmart tub. So we made this. This is going to be the side. These are the sides. We made this 36 inches. This way we have a little bit, you know, so it recesses a little bit in here. It's kind of hard to see because it's such a bright glare off the sun. What I did here, this is for the heat tape. So I put a bunch of saw curves in here with the skill saw, and I'm going to router it out, so this way the heat tape is going to be recessed into the wood. And I'll do both sides of the rack, and then I'll do the shelves as well. So this way I don't have to worry about the tubs hitting it and everything. This is going to be the top of the tub, or the top of the rack, and I have the saw curves just going up enough to where it'll the heat tape will be on that bottom shelf. I think I just did it so you kind of see when it's all the way in, then the heat tape will be in the back. So we'll keep you posted though. So this is what it looks like when it's done, and it's only recessed, I mean, you can kind of see it's only recessed maybe 1/8 of an inch. So these are the 2 sides. This is the bottom here, top's up there. Doesn't have to be nothing special. Got the tape going in the middle here, and then you know, you don't want to take out too much meat on the plywood so it doesn't make it flimsy or weak or anything. So I got these both ready to go. I'm gonna put these aside and start working on the shelves. The shelves, what do we have for the width? We have 15.5 inches for the width. So 15.5 inches for the width. So we'll go 1 inch on each side, I guess. So yeah, we'll go 17.5 on the shelves. Even 17 is probably fine for the shelves. So I'll cut those, and then I'll have to put this curve in the shelves as well. But the shelves is 3/4, so I could go a little bit deeper on the shelves. So this way, when I make the turn to go from level to level, from one shelf to the next, might be a little easier. But we're gonna make the shelves now and keep on going. So real quick, these are the shelves. I got this the same distance, 5 inches from the back and then 5 inches wide. And again, I just cut a bunch of relief cuts in it with the skill saw, and then after I'm done with the router, it looks like this. So I gotta do this on all the shelves, and then this way it'll match the side panels. And I run my heat tape through here, and it's only, I think, 3-inch heat tape, but I leave an inch on each side, so I have plenty of room to fasten it and not have to struggle and worry about you know, get my hands in there. So it's the before and after. And if you don't have a router, I mean, I know people, you know, they just tape it to the plywood you'd be better off getting a piece of 1/4 inch plywood and put it on here, stop it, and then continue a 1/4 piece of plywood here. Then you don't have to worry about the relief cuts and stuff like that. It'll make it a little thicker, but you could probably start with a 1/2 inch and then add a 1/4 inch in front and back of the heat tape, and you don't have to worry about doing all this. But you just got to make sure you get the screws to secure it properly. So probably 3/4 inch screws, flat, so they recess into the wood, and then you don't have to worry about this. But I'm a carpenter by trade and I have the tools handy, so why not? But continuing, this is my 3rd one. I got 3 more to do, and then I can start putting it together. My piece is cut. I got the 6 shelves. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. The top, the shelves I made 17.5 by 3 foot. The top part I made 18.5 by 3 foot, because the sides are 1/2 inch each. So obviously the shelves are going to go in between the sides. So 17.5 plus another inch of wood, so 18.5. This is the back piece. So I got I made this 18.5 by 4 foot, and that's it. We start putting her together. So I got a piece already for the spacers in between the tubs and the shelves, but I'm gonna bring all this stuff. It's going upstairs. So basically, because it's 2 pieces of plywood that I don't want to bring up the stairs, I'm gonna bring it up piece by piece and then build it in place. So next, we're getting there though. Okay, well, as I'm starting this build, what I do is I put the top piece on first, and obviously the sides are kind of out of whack here, but put the top piece on first, and then you flip it over and you start working your way down with the shelves. You can see I have the cutoff, or the dadoed edge here for the tape on both sides, and what I'll do is I'll build it now, and then when I'm done, then I'll take the tape and run it through, and I'll show you how we do it here. But with the top, it was a little hard because I'll show you the screws. And the screws are just construction screws, and the sides are only 1/2 inch, so it's a little narrow. But I pre-drill it, and I use just a small drill bit like this guy, and you determine the size because it's kind of hard to see, it's not focusing, but the drill bit is just as big as the screw without the threads, so this way the threads will grab even if you drill it all the way through. So, and then for the top of it, I use a bigger bit here, so this way the screw head goes all the way in. If you don't, then you get this, and the screw head is sticking up a little bit. So I'll probably have to redo these 2. But I did these 2, and then, you know, I'm like, well, I'll get a bigger drill bit, enough to fit the head of the screw, and you just drill down just a little bit, just to break the surface, so this way it sinks in there. And then you finish it with the size drill bit that you're going to use for the screws. And I'll do the same on the sides and stuff like that, so this way all the screws are countersunk. And we'll start working our way down. When I flip this over, it's going to obviously be a little flimsy for the first one, so have it next to a wall. That's why I'm leaning against the wall here, or somebody to hold it for you. So my girls aren't here right now, so that's why they're not helping me. Otherwise, I know they'd help me with it. But we gotta get this done because I gotta get more snakes soon. So and my female keeps on escaping out of the other one I made, so this is needed. But I'm going to show you step by step here, and I'll get a couple shelves, and I'll come back and show you how I get the shelves in. So as you're building this thing, get a couple shelves in, it's going to start standing up by itself. This is the 1/8 inch pegboard I got, just masonite. It's a little short for length, but it's just a spacer. As long as it covers the tub, it's really pretty much all you need. And because you're building it upside down, you got to make sure that this dado edge is down towards the tub, so this way, you know, the heat tape can be over it. So you got your spacer in there, and after you get this screwed, it's going to be a little tight to get the tub out. But once you have the tub out, you'll see it's going to slide real nice. You know, there's a little bit of a space there, but it's only 1/8 of an inch, and that's just going to be for airflow, for, you know, so you don't have to have holes in the sides of the tubs. Some of the tubs I do have holes, but with that space there, it'll give you plenty of gap for easy tub removal, and so you can access the snakes and stuff like that. So as you just start working it up, you put the tub in, you get your spacer. Like I said, you only need 1/8 of an inch, and then you get your next shelf. And what I usually do is I start at the front and try and line up the sides as best as possible. And you start at the front, and then I always double check numbers if you're butting the shelf to the top, and do it on all 4 corners, so this way you're safe. Because this is such a deep rack, what I usually do is I do both corners. I'll measure down for the screw. You know, I'll eye the screw where center is here on all 4 corners. You know, so here, over here, and then the back, and then I'll measure from the top down where the center of the screw is, so I know where to hit it in the middle. So, and also when you're putting your screws in, you want to make sure that you don't put any screws in your chase for your tape, because that's going to make it a little tricky to get your tape through there. So I know this is 10 inches from here to the back of it, so I just make sure I stay to this side of it, and you're going to be fine. And you just keep on building it up. This is going to be the 3rd shelf. I got three more shelves, and then that's going to be it. And then I can put the heat tape in. So coming right along. Been working on it so far for about an hour, but I always double check my numbers and stuff, and you know, make sure I'm not going to have any problems with it being out of whack. Which, if the shelves are a little out of square or something like that, or not totally level, it's not the end of the world. But I'm in the habit of just double checking everything and making sure everything is straight and as close as possible. So I take my time and just make sure I do it right, because I'm going to have it for a lot of years. So we're doing it. So we'll keep on going and show you when it's done what it looks like. Well, I got the rack built. I actually do have enough room here. This is the bottom part. I do have enough room for one more shelf, but I'm not going to do it. 1, I don't have the wood, and 2, if I do, I'm only going to have like 2 inches underneath, and I kind of like the snakes being off the floor a little bit more, and it's a little storage too. So when you do this, like I was saying before, I always check my numbers, and you have like 7 3/8, and it should be the same all the way around. And as I was working my way up, I checked it out, and you know, they were all right there. So this is good. So shelves are in. I got 4 screws on each side. 1, 2, 3, 4. And now I'll flip it over and I'll get the tape. I actually have the tape in another rack, so I'm going to have to take the snakes out of that and pull that apart and use the tape from that one, because that one's not working out. So this, I'll have the other rack is 3 high. This is going to be 6 high. So I got see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 shelves. And it's going to use the same amount of tape because the other one's going sideways, this one's going, you know, long ways. So I'll show you the other rack in a sec here. Well, this is my other rack. It's cleaning day, looks like. You know, when I built this, I kind of threw it together and didn't do a very good job of it. It was actually really tight, and I tried lifting this up, and I have my big normal in here, and I could not believe it, but she only had about a 1/2 inch, so she's going in the shed, but she only had about a 1/2 inch gap, and she was able to squeeze her way out of it, and she got out a few times last week. That's why I had these clamps on here. So yeah, I couldn't believe it was only about a 1/2 inch gap and she was able to get out. So that's why I'm using an 1/8 inch board to for spacer, because they can't have that much room. So we're gonna take these guys out of here, or these girls out of here, and take this tape off and finish up the rack. Alright, well, got the heat tape ran. I use thumbtacks and HVAC tape or aluminum tape. Thumbtacks you could use, you just gotta stay away from that metal strip. And I used the whole strip, but just run it down. I check it with this, so even if it's hitting the side, you kind of see it doesn't really matter if it's a little bit away or not on the bottom, because with the top rim it's not going to really hit it anyway. So I got it run all the way down. This last one was a little short, but between the sides and the, you know, the bottom will still get hot. And yeah, we got her done. So another thing I did was I drilled out the side here for the probe and the cord for the heat tape. I also, on the bottom, I put a couple pieces of electrical tape on the end. This is a precaution. And yeah, we're good to put the back on. Now with the back, what I'll do is I'll run the top flush and keep one side flush, and then I'll rack it back and forth to square it up, so this way I know it's straight. And then I'll screw it to the back here, back of the panel here. So I'll show you how I do that, and then we're ready to put the tubs in. So we're just about there. So with the back panel, like I said, I'm keeping it flush here, and as you can see, as it works down, it's not flush over here. So you see it's overhanging a little bit. So what I do is I just work it down, and I'll push this in so it's flush, and then I'll just work it down as I go, make sure it's flushed up on the side instead of hanging past. And then what that'll do is that's going to shift this whole rack this way, so this way at least this back part is square. It'll keep the front square as well, but it'll be straight up and down at least. So, and I'll run it along the sides, on both sides. I don't know if I'm going to hit try and hit the shelves or not, but I'll run on the sides and that should be good to hold it. Well, here we go. All installed. We got our normal. It's very defensive. Our yellow belly. Our Mojave. And our cinnamon. But man, I just love this rack. This rack, the way it's, you know, it's so easy to pull in and out. And as most of you know, or some of you know, that I didn't have much luck with with breeding last year. I didn't have any luck. I had a lot of lockups and stuff like that. I think maybe my temps were off. I know the snakes were used to a rack system like this instead of on the side, so maybe, you know, I'm sure there's a couple of things that I was doing. So we're gonna try this year. I have 2 more spots available. I have a couple buddies I'm gonna get snakes from this weekend. Should be a very big unboxing or unwrapping. I'm gonna go pick them up. But yeah, it should be. I'm excited. I got 1 breeder coming, and I'm gonna have, I think, 7 other ones that coming. So stay tuned. Hit that like and notification, subscribe, and we'll keep you posted. But it's supposed to be should be having a big unboxing this weekend, and that's how you do the snake rack. So this is definitely the way to go. So we'll keep you guys posted on everything going on over here, and thanks for checking out the video. Leave me a comment, let me know what you think. We'll talk to you guys later. Bye.